Hello, it's Alex, the Bookubus. I'm back with part 2 of my March book haul, and most of the books here are ones that I found at a secondhand bookshop that I went to recently, and a few I received as birthday gifts. Most of these are vintage YA titles, so mostly from the 80s and 90s, and yeah, with a few other things thrown in as well. And I'll start off actually with a couple of middle grade ones I got. The bookshop that I went to had quite a few Goosebumps books, and yeah, I would have loved to grab them all, but you know, can't buy everything. I wish I could, but I decided to just pick up 3, kind of just pick the ones that jumped out to me really. So we have Stay Out of the Basement, and You Can't Scare Me, and Ghost Beach. Anyway, they all look really fun, so yeah, I am looking forward to reading some more Goosebumps since I only read my first ever one last year. Speaking of R.L. Stine, they also had a bunch of Fear Street books, and again, I had to restrain myself to just getting a couple, but the ones I chose were The Surprise Party, which I think is an early one in the series. It might even be the second one, and yeah, it just sounded really good. And the other 2 I picked up because they were on my Goodreads want to read list, so I'm pretty sure someone here had recommended these 2 titles to me maybe ages ago, but I'd added them to Goodreads, and then yeah, when I was comparing what they had on the shelf to what was on that list, they had these 2, so I grabbed them. So whoever you are, thank you for the recommendations. I got Missing, which is about a couple of characters' parents who suddenly go missing and don't turn up, and Trapped, which is about some tunnels underneath the high school. Say no more. They also had a bunch of Christopher Pike, of course they did, so I ended up picking up 5, really splashed out there, but yeah, I just couldn't leave them behind. So we have Execution of Innocence, which is one I actually wasn't familiar with. I think this is one of his later ones, but sounds really good. The tagline is Death and Devotion in a Small Town. We have Fall into Darkness, which I know is like a Pike classic, and I haven't read this one, so I'm looking forward to it. This one says she fell forever and never hit the ground. I got Master of Murder. He wrote about his own murder. See You Later, a story of love and hate beyond time. And The Wicked Heart, an innocent turned evil. Okay, next up, I was particularly pleased to find a few Avon Flair titles. So first up we have Fan Mail by Nicole Davidson, which has this amazing cover. It says, Christina is a star and someone wants her dead. If He Hollers by A.G. Cascone. Eeny Meeny Miny Mo, who will be the next to go? The Weirdo by Theodore Taylor. This one is a bit beat up. I think it was a former library copy, but still, I couldn't leave it behind. This one says, The swamp is his home. Enter if you dare. And I was particularly pleased within that little group to find a couple by Carol Gorman. So we have Die For Me, which is another Ouija board gone wrong story. I mean, are there ever any Ouija board gone right stories? Really? Answers on a postcard, please. This one says, Play the game if you dare. And Graveyard Moon, which seems to be about some kind of initiation gone wrong. Again, are there any initiations that go right? This one says, When the moon is full, none but the dead are safe. These ones look really fun. I'm really looking forward to reading them. I got Class Trip by B.B. Fass Rice, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this one is about a group of high school friends who go away for spring break. It turns out one of them is a murderer. The tagline says, The in crowd is hanging out with a killer. I got a few Point Scholastic titles. One of them is The Cheerleader by Caroline B. Cooney. And this one was also released in the UK's Point Horror series, so I do have that edition, but I just really like this cover too, and I couldn't resist grabbing it. And it's a really good pretty unique vampire story set at high school, of course. So yeah, well worth checking out if you haven't read it. Oh, and the tagline is, "She would do anything to be popular." Final Exam by A. Bates. This one wasn't released in the UK, so I was happy to find this one. And the tagline is, "If you fail, you'll just die." And The Man in the Woods by Rosemary Wells. This one might be more of a mystery than a kind of thriller/horror, but I couldn't resist this cover. There's this locket and like the eyes are scratched out in the photograph. It's kind of terrifying actually. And the tagline is, "He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake." And I also got a copy of Someone at the Door by Richie Tankersley-Cusick. This is an Archway edition, and I don't believe this title was released in the UK either, so I was really pleased to find it. And this one, the tagline is, "It's murder outside." And I think it's about a couple of sisters who are trapped in a snowbound building, and a couple of people rock up and they are kind of forced to take them in. I do really like Richie Tankersley-Cusick's books, so I'm glad to have found this one. Okay, those are all of the books I got from that secondhand bookshop. Yeah, it was a real treasure trove, and I got all of these for really cheap, so really happy to have them all. I'm looking forward to reading them and just diving into that 80s and 90s goodness. And I just have a few more books to share with you. These were ones I received as birthday gifts. First up is Waiting Spirits by Bruce Coville. This is part of the Dark Forces series, and you might have heard me mention that series before. The books in that series all look amazing, and I've been wanting to collect them for quite some time, but just haven't really, you know, had the money to dive into that rabbit hole, so I've held off. But I received this as a gift, and I'm gonna take this as a green light that I can now dive into collecting the others, right? I got a copy of The Blue Mirror by Kathy Koja. This is a young adult title of hers, but I think it's supposed to be pretty dark and, you know, might also be classified as horror. So I don't know too much about the story. I'm happy to just go in not really knowing anything, but I'm really looking forward to reading more of her work because she is without doubt one of my favourite authors, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing something that she wrote, you know, aimed at younger readers. So yeah, very excited for this one. Next up are a couple of books that my sister gave me that I think she found in charity shops, and yeah, sometimes you can just find the best things in charity shops. So first up we have this James Bond For Your Eyes Only special, and it is just an array of Bond related things. We've got pictures, we've got a quiz, we've got this amazing piece, and there is even, where is it? Here it is, a centerfold of Roger Moore, who is my favourite Bond. I think he's the best Bond. So yeah, this is really awesome, and I'll have to have a proper look through this one when I get a chance. And she found this amazing Labyrinth book. This is Labyrinth, the photo album by Numerous Goblins as told to Rebecca Grand. How cute is that? And yeah, this just has a bunch of, hello again, a bunch of Labyrinth related goodness. Oh my god, this is amazing. So yeah, Labyrinth is one of my favourite films, and this looks wonderful. Yeah, I still need to have a proper look through this one too. And last up, not an actual book to read, but another thing that my sister got for me and is Labyrinth related. It's a journal, and it's like a proper, you know, official Labyrinth thing. This is super lovely. It's like really nice quality. I haven't even taken it out of the package yet, and I'm probably going to be afraid to even use it because like what could possibly be important enough to like put in a book so beautiful. But yeah, really happy to have this. It's absolutely wonderful. And yeah, that wraps up the haul. Part 2 of the mega March book haul. I've been thoroughly spoiled, both treating myself to books and receiving some amazing books as gifts. So yeah, as always, let me know if you've read any of these, let me know what you thought, and let me know if there are any here that you think I should pick up sooner rather than later. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you again in my next video. Bye!